Well, greetings, friends. I'd like to welcome you all to this opening of the 146th Annual Convention of the International Theosophical Society. It's a very good thing to be together in this virtual manner once again. I think many of you will know that 2020 was a historic year for the Theosophical Society, in that it was the first ever fully virtual convention of the Theosophical Society in its history, at that time in its 145-year history. Conditions did not permit for a physical gathering, even though during the courses of world wars we somehow managed to have a physical gathering. But last year was different. It was historic for us. I think 2020, when the history books of the future are written, 2020 will be regarded as a very exceptional year for humanity and for human history, a watershed year, a tipping point. There are a lot of ways that we could probably describe it, many perspectives on it, but no matter what, I think it's very clear that during that year of 2020, something profound changed. Many ways to interpret it, but from an ageless wisdom perspective, or even from just observation, the level of a keen sort of observation, it's clear that there was something new, and a global recognition was forced upon us through this pandemic moment that we still are living through, a global recognition of our interdependence, without regard for financial status, educational level, race, caste, religion, sex, gender. Without regard for any of that, no one stood outside of this shared human experience of a pandemic. Of course, it was something that was largely a fear-based recognition. Fear for the safety of our loved ones and of ourselves, but it was recognized. Alongside of this particular global recognition, it seems as if there has been another recognition, a rising recognition of a global sense of human responsibility for a planet that is simultaneously drowning and burning, resulting from the effects of human choices. Human-induced environmental conditions from human behaviors over a period of time. Now we are seeing what could be called predictable but dire consequences or effects on the environment, and the recognition that in spite of our past behaviors, that humanity does not stand outside of nature. We are not separate from it, above it, or immune to it, the natural world. This is a dawning recognition. Again, a recognition forced upon us by the effects that we are witnessing of global patterns of weather shifting, and the models that have been developed to track the potential results of that. So this is something that is new. The isolation, the separation that we have fostered in our behaviors as nations and as individuals are coming into question, at least. And it's a very important moment. What we as a human family will do how we will respond, that remains to be seen. Sometimes, as individuals, the slightest glimpse of a truth is life-changing, direction-changing. Sometimes the sense is that the demands of truth, having seen something, that it's too demanding. And then people respond differently, maybe distract themselves from what they have seen. In the words of the poet, we are distracted from distractions by distractions. So this is the something of the possibility. We can go in a couple of different ways. H.P. Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophical Society, made an important statement, I believe, in discussing the idea of the power of truth. And she said there is no more fatal fallacy than that truth will prevail by its own force. She said that's a fallacy, that it has only to be seen, to be embraced. The fact as she presented it, she went on, she elaborated, and she said that the desire for truth exists in very few minds, and the capacity to discern it in fewer still. So, for me, if one believes that this is correct, a correct analysis, what it does mean is this, that for us, those of us who are members of the Theosophical Society, those of us for whom the motto of the society, that there is no religion higher than truth, the motto is there is no dharma higher than truth, which includes religion, but also speaks to any sort of system of thought. There is none of that exceeds truth. And so there's a role for anyone among us who feels that there is value in seeking truth, because it places a certain responsibility on us to not only to seek for truth, but when some realization of the nature of a truth or of truth comes to us, to seek for it, but also to suffer it, to respond to its demands, to not go back to sleep. It's a need in the world, and it's a duty for those who are so inclined. From the perspective of this year's convention and its theme, the role for us is to learn to live more fully, to live in the now, to learn to see and to accept the challenges of the inner life. So with that as a prelude, at this time I would like to pronounce the traditional invocation for beginning and opening these conventions. May those who are the embodiments of love immortal bless with their help and guidance this society founded to be a channel for their work. May they inspire it with their wisdom, strengthen it with their power, and energize it with their activity. At this point, I declare the 146th Annual Convention of the Theosophical Society. I declare this convention open.